righty. Good morning, players. Barstool Beef, head golf professional foreplay podcast. This is our first series here with Fireball. This is our first swing series of what we got going on here for the day. Huge shout out to Fireball making this happen for us. Whether you're playing a good round of golf or a bad round of golf, get yourself a Fireball 50 milliliter cinnamon whiskey shooter. For us, golf is simple. It's a chance to get out, have some fun with our friends, enjoy beautiful nature out there, but inevitably things can go wrong. Sometimes you don't hit the fairway well. Sometimes you're playing all day in the water. Sometimes you're in the sand. Beverage cart's nowhere to be found. When you need it, get yourself a Fireball 50 milliliter cinnamon whiskey shooter here for us. If you're really feeling up to it, up and down on the golf course this weekend, make sure to grab the Fireball club as well. You fit about 6 shooters in that golf club 5-iron there. You can get them right online at fireballwhiskey.com. Today we're going to do some first swings. Before we start that though, we got to start the right way. Alrighty, I am geared up and ready. Let's first talk about grip here for the day, and then we'll hit some short game shots. We'll hit some shots today from about 40 yards, and then we'll make our swing even bigger. But if we're starting with grip, me being a right-hand player, I love where the Golf Pride logo for me is up. We're gonna start with our thumb around the club. The right hand in your golf swing here, act like you're a cup like a basketball. Right now I have this little small soccer ball for us, but you can see I'm cupping that soccer ball right there. And I'm using the big pads in between my thumb and my pinky to cup that area. And we're gonna use this middle line here, and we're gonna put the hot dog in the bun. So left hand thumb is the hot dog, there's the bun, it goes right on top. The more this right hand is in a stronger position, the more I can close down that club face. So if you see your ball flight when you get to full swing, a lot of right to left for right-handed players, we're probably in too much of a strong grip there. We need to go a little bit more neutral. If we always have these huge fades, two things are probably happening. We're swinging over the top, but this club face is staying open too much relative to path. So more neutral here would be a lot more fades, much more stronger grip, a lot more draws in here for us. Let's hit some beginning shots. As we talk about basics here, we're gonna start with a golf ball right in the middle of our body. So wedges, 9-iron, 8-iron, we're gonna play in the middle of the body. Anything that's longer clubs, we're gonna go more towards our front side. So me being a right-hand player, near my heart, near my left shoulder blade, always hit the drivers, always off the big front toe. So we're starting in the middle and we're talking about a Y formation. So you can see my arms here make a lowercase letter Y. Here's the small portion of that Y, here's the long portion of that Y. We see a lot of players that try to flip and break their wrists. That's not something we want to see in there for us. So keep that Y intact, roll through, make sure to brush the turf with this leading edge. If you ever have a whole bunch of skulls, leading edge right here is not brushing the turf. It's going right directly into the golf ball. Sends that golf ball squirting across the green. All right, we're working today with our 40-yard wedge shot and our Golf Zone trainer. Okay, for us, we want to equate swing length with a certain distance. So if I take this club, let's say back waist high, and I swing through, we'll notice now I hit a total of 37 yards. It carried 33. My spin number is right around 4,600. We can always change trajectory by changing clubs. So we don't need to always play the golf ball in the middle, but if we're gonna change trajectory, the easiest way is always swap wedges out. So right now I have my 58-degree wedge. If I move down to my 54-degree wedge, I'd see a little bit lower trajectory. The golf ball would roll out more. For any of these shots today too, if I hit it within a yard or I chip it in, we're gonna take another Fireball shooter, okay? So you'll notice the swings I'm making right now aren't big swings, waist high to waist high. All I'm trying to feel is centerness contact on the club face and have a good tempo and a good rhythm in my swing. We got Chad up here. Do you think the golf ball will be on fire? I think the golf ball is always on fire. When you're in a good mood and you're hitting good shots, there's always some really good fire content shots. Alrighty, that one's 0.78, which means we got to take a Fireball shooter. We go right into the cabinet here. Fireball cinnamon whiskey, 0.78. We'll see how many of these we go through today. We're hoping for a chip in too. Alrighty, fire up with Fireball cinnamon whiskey. If you're a first-time player or even a multi-time player, you know how important wedge shots are. So here we're 40 yards away. Our goal would be 1 chip, 2 putts or less. We'll see our score go down. We'll see our excitement and enjoyment go up. So when you're around the green and you're using your wedges, I want you to think 1 chip, 2 putts or less. If you can get in that habit more and more and more, scores are gonna go way down. You're gonna have much more fun. Even if you hit a bad chip, take a Fireball whiskey. Take a little Fireball whiskey nip, have it and get back in a nice frame of reference. Okay. So you can see from some of these shots here too, Chet, some of them are going a little bit more right, some of them are going a little bit more left. It all depends upon the path that this golf club takes. So if I deliberately on this next one here, swing more in to out, so from my back right foot out to where the shot counter's at, what do you think is going to happen to that ball flight? Well, it has to be more right force. So simple concepts like where's the path of the golf club going and what's the face doing will give us instant feedback to what's happening on the golf course. So you'll notice there, this line here, we had our path significantly off to the right-hand side because, again, we were trying to manipulate and move that club from my back right foot out to the right-hand side. Watch what happens now when I go the opposite way. So if I go towards the camera out to the right-hand side and I cut across my body, where's that path of that golf ball going to go? Okay, left. Now again, we don't really care about hitting the golf ball close when we do that. We just want to go to looking at path and having players understand more what's happening to their golf ball and why is that happening. Super important that if we know what's happening and why it's happening, then we can correct it. Let's go back to our target here for us. And you notice I'm still only taking this kind of waist high approach. Okay, waist high to waist high. A little bit lower on the face, a little bit more further out there for us. The other great thing that this Golf Zone trainer does is in the top right corner, it's going to show us where our weight dispersion is for us. So we always want to make sure that we have some weight moving forward. We don't ever want to be back on the golf ball, because the further I'm back on the golf ball, the more this leading edge comes into play. That's where you get the skulls. No fun there. All right, let's see if we can go a little waist high to waist high. Get it within a yard. I'm feeling a little thirsty. I need another Fireball shooter here for us. The other thing we want to see is just consistency over and over and over again. How can we continue to find center of the club face? Much, much easier to do when the swings are super small. Think about your putting swing. You should be able to repeat it over and over and over again, because your putting motion just goes from your shoe line to your shoe line, where your driver swing is a big motion. So this smaller swing should be more repeatable. And you can notice as you follow all those lines, we see the golf ball doing the same thing. Okay? Now, let's say I switch my wedges and I go from a 58 degree to a 54. Well, what do we know is automatically going to happen? Ball flight's going to go from being up to being more down. There's probably a lot more rollout to the golf ball as well, so we're not going to get to stop as fast. And the spin number is probably going to go down a little bit, meaning I'm going to have to land this closer to the fringe or just on the putting green to get to roll out the distance that my 58 was going out. We're still going middle of the body. We still got that Y. Okay. You notice there now, swing's much smaller. That one even landed in the rough beforehand and rolled all that distance. Backspin number 2,900. So when you're using wedges with less loft, think we need more of a runway for that golf ball to finish what's happening. Doesn't mean I can't hit a 54-degree wedge high. We're not at that point yet. We're just talking about consistency and how we can deliver the golf club over and over and over again to the same position. You'll even notice on the tracker for us that the height of the lines is much lower. So this apex is right here for us compared to some of these chips I had that are way, way up there. So controlling trajectory is important, especially if you have green to work with or no green to work with. If I have no green to work with, I need my highest lofted wedge, something like a 58. I may play it forward in my stance because I need that golf ball to go straight up, straight down. If I have plenty of green to work with, well, I can hit 58, I can hit 54, I can hit 50. I can mess with the trajectories that I enjoy seeing so I can get the golf ball closer to the hole. Let's see, we got chat here. How do you avoid the inevitable skull when chipping? So one of the best ways to avoid the skull is leading edge has to brush the turf. If your only thought is the leading edge brushing the turf, the only place the golf ball goes up. So you may sit in here, or you may even practice from a rough lie, and I want to hear that sound. I don't know if you can hear it there on the video, but I want to hear that sound. As long as I can hear that sound, I know for sure that the leading edge is brushing the turf. So you may practice with the ball sitting up in the rough, brush the turf, no skulls. You can see though how much more rollout my golf ball has using this 54-degree wedge compared to using that 58 before. And if you're new to the game of golf and you're just swinging for the first couple times, you may even still put the golf ball on a tee from here. Okay? Brush, brush, brush. No skulls. If, let's say, we do skull a golf ball, let's see if I can do this on here on command. So I'm going to go no brush. I'm going to see if I can skull it here, and I'm just going to try and hit the leading edge right into the golf ball just to show everybody. Okay, you can see we got worm burners. No fun at all. So, just remember, to have loft, we need the leading edge to brush the turf. It can go up in the air. If this leading edge hits into the golf ball, all the momentum goes low, nothing goes up, goes right across the green. All right, we're still talking about playing the golf ball in the middle of our body. We've switched to 2 wedges now. We've seen the different ball flights. We've seen the difference in swing length, right? The 58-degree wedge was much bigger swing because the momentum was going up compared to out. The 54-degree wedge here is more flatlined. Smaller swings I'm making. Still repeatable over and over and over again. Let's switch wedges one more time. And if now I move to my 50-degree wedge, in theory, chat, what should we know is going to happen? Well, my ball flight's still going to come down more, so I need more space to attack the green. I know that I'm going to have a lot more rollout, and I know that my swing doesn't have to be as big because my momentum is going more out than it's going up. Okay, my RPMs are still lower. It's in the 3,000 range. I carried that one 27 yards and it rolled out to 35 yards. So 8 yards of rollout, 24 feet of rollout, where before I was landing these shots around 32 yards and finishing around 35. If you're taking a look at my swing too, you noticed the 58 was probably here, hands waist high. 54 is a little bit lower, maybe thigh high. This one here is probably kneecap high. And that's all just because of loft. I want you as a golfer to be comfortable hitting all your wedges as well. Because there's certain scenarios on the golf course where you're going to have to hit a wedge high. There's certain scenarios where you're going to have to hit a wedge medium. There's certain scenarios where you're going to have to hit a wedge low. There's certain scenarios where you're going to have to bump and run type of shot. But if you're comfortable with all your wedges, you have plenty more options than if you just said, hey, I only hit my 60 degree and I only hit flop shots. Let's see 2 or 3 more, and then we'll start talking about moving the ball position around and what that does for the swing. Go in. I'm a little thirsty here. We're going to try and make one of these within a yard so we have another fireball shooter. Let's see if we can take one of these messages here from the chat. What's your best round? My lowest score is 68. Whitetail Golf Club, Lake in the Hills, Illinois. That was quite a couple years ago though. But I just like going out and having fun with players, like going out and enjoying the foursome you're with. If you're gonna be on the golf course for 4 hours, hopefully you have a good party you're with. Hopefully you're bringing fireball along with you. Hopefully the vibes are high. Hopefully you're making good swings, good scores. And if not, have a fireball shooter or two and enjoy 4 hours with somebody else out there. The other thing you probably notice, 1.2 chat, 1.2, we were close. The other thing you probably notice is the tempo that you swing with is important. I can't take this club back super slow and try to swing through fast. We don't have good outcomes. They're inconsistent. The same way where I can't take this club back super fast and decelerate, that's no fun either. That's probably the worst thing you can do. So you need to find a good tempo, you need to find a good rhythm, you need to find a good thought process of this being like a big pendulum back and forth. Big grandfather clock is what I usually think of. Okay, back to the kneecap high, through to the kneecap high. How can we match backswing with follow through? And keep the speed the same over and over and over again. Okay? Speed's the same over and over and over again. And if, let's say I was going out and practicing, this is what I want to see. A whole bunch of consistent golf shots over and over and over again, where I know now we've hit 3 wedges, 58, 54, 50, and we saw the different trajectories and what that did for us. I'm going to switch back to my 58. And let's talk about ball position. So, if I'm here just trying to get on the mat here for us, if I play that golf ball more forward in my stance, so me being a right-hand player, more off my left pocket, my hand should be a little bit more forward for us, but it should allow me to have a little bit more loft in this golf club. If I play this one back in my stance, okay, what do you notice already is happening with that club face? De-lofts it. So if I jump up here and show you, and we just take my hand here, forward, club's a little bit more upright, plenty more loft, back in the stance, club face comes down. So I can essentially make my 58 degree wedge my 50 degree if I want to. Again, the easiest way to always do that is just change wedges. But sometimes you want to be able to hit a high shot or a low shot. If I play this golf ball back in my stance, again, this is my 54. If I play this golf ball back in my stance, and I grab my 58 degree wedge now, let's see if I can hit a lower trajectory shot with this 58 degree wedge. There we go. And you'll notice the RPMs are still up. I mean, I have 4,800 RPMs, but I can still feel like I can carry that full distance without having to feel that trajectory go super high for us. Back in the stance, the weight still stays forward. We still brush the turf. What you've probably noticed, if you've seen a couple of these shots now, is that my swing length isn't as big as it was before. And that's all because I'm changing the trajectory around with what I'm trying to do. So because I can go a little bit more direct towards the golf ball, because I can go a little more direct towards the golf ball, I don't have to have the feeling, whoopsies, we got a little, there we go. I don't have to have the feeling like I have to go high. So ball back in the stance, we de-loft the club a little bit, trajectory is low. As you can now tell, my 58 degree wedge now has a ton more rollout. That one went 24 yards, carried 36 yards total, compared to when it is golf ball position to the middle of my body or forward of my body. Let's see the difference now between moving that golf ball position from back in the stance to forward in the stance. Still 58 degree wedge. Okay, hands still stay forward. We can't flip. Okay, we still need to brush the turf. A little bit higher golf ball. But now you can see from those two, even that one, I had plenty more distance I could have gone. This thing went more straight up in the air, straight back down. So rainbows compared to like a bow and arrow going straight out. If you're adding loft, you obviously know then too, you need to make your swing bigger. Right? And why do we need to make our swing bigger? Because your momentum of your golf ball is going up instead of out. So now if you're watching the tracer, you can see how much shorter that golf ball is rolling out because the trajectory is so much higher. We're gonna make our swing a little bit bigger here. Carry 41, distance 43. So now by me just changing how I'm using my wedge allows me to hit higher shots, lower shots, ones that roll out, ones that stop faster. Let's hit a couple more to this 40 yard target, and then we'll get a little bit bigger for us. That might have been the worst wedge shot of the day so far. Still not bad. Again, your goal here when you're in these shorter distances, 1 chip, 2 putts. How can we make sure we make 3s from around here? We don't want to make 4s, 5s, and 6s. That's how our score goes straight up. Y formation, smooth tempo. Okay, maybe you're one of the golfers in the chat and you've played golf a little bit more. You want to work on just tempo? Let's see if we can pull this off a little bit. I do a ton of work with just one hand only, where I just want to feel what's my right hand doing in the swing. How can I feel smooth backswing, smooth follow through, and just isolating my right hand only. So you'll notice, right hand only on the club. I play these from a little bit more in the middle of my body, and I'm just trying to feel what my right hand's doing only in the swing. Still need the ground rules, right? Need to brush the turf. Need to have weight moving forward towards my target. Need to make sure that I have the right trajectory picked out in my brain and I'm committed to it. Okay? Again, this is for somebody that's maybe a little bit more advanced and wants to work on some tempo. I can always go back to 2 hands and still just feel only my right arm working and my right wrist, and feeling these shots over and over and over again. Okay? So now that we have some groundwork established, now that we know how we're going to practice, why we're going to practice, how much we're going to practice, we can make our swing bigger. If I'm a good driver of a car at 55 miles an hour, I can go to 75. If I'm a terrible driver at 35 miles an hour, why would I ever jump on the highway? So get the fundamentals correct, work on the fundamentals a lot, and then you can make your swing bigger. Let's move this to like 70 yards. Then we'll see. We'll take a couple questions here from chat. Perfect. All right, so 70 yards. It can feel much more like a full swing shot now, or at least a 3/4 shot. What do we got here? Beef, how do you mark your golf balls? Sharpie guy. I am actually not a Sharpie guy. So TaylorMade staffer, they came out with this thing called the TaylorMade My Symbol program. So my golf balls have number 77 on them, sports number. And on the side of them it also has a picture of a hot dog. They didn't have any steaks. They didn't have like cuts of beef. So it's an all beef hot dog on the side of my golf ball. All right. Now that we're at 70 yards, we're just going to take our swing, which was about waist high. We're going to make it more shoulder high here for us. Golf ball still in the middle. Shoulder high performance. And we can now start to dial in more. Where's too big, where's too small with our swing. So you notice there it carried 69 yards when a total of 73. We still need the fundamentals, right? Brush the turf. Shift our weight forward. Good tempo. Okay, our first shot that's short of the green. So that one went 51, total of 53. So what do I need to do in my swing to make sure I get all the way there? I have to have a consistent backswing. I have to make sure that I'm committed to my shot. If I'm not, you'll notice I have that short distance. Okay, there's a little bit better for us. Still a little bit short. So where players don't practice enough from is distances like 40, 50, 70 yards. All the players I see that I coach, if they had an hour to spend on the driving range, is hitting driver for 55 minutes and getting water for 5 minutes. When most of your shots happen around the greens, if you have an hour to go practice, 30 minutes on the range, hit about 7 to 10 drivers, hit some iron shots, hit some wedge shots, spend the other 25 minutes doing putting, short game around the green, and bunker play. Because sooner or later you're going to end up in a bunker. You need to be able to get out of there. And most of your strokes happen from 150 yards and in. See what I got here in chat. Beef, you need to be giving a different employee a lesson a week. Well, we kind of do that. So we have a series going on called the Swings from the Stool. So we do our Barstool personalities. And also if we have any guests that are in town, we had Bubba Wallace was here a couple weeks ago. Kyle Berkshire was here a couple weeks ago. He hit it 401 yards on the simulator, way farther than what I can do. But now that we have the fundamentals from that 40-yard distance, we can really make our swing bigger. Since we're making our swing bigger, let's make our remaining distance a little bit bigger too, so that way we have some fireball shooters. So if we get within 3 yards, which would be 9 feet from 70 yards, we get rewarded with a little fireball shooter. Come on, I need some cinnamon whiskey. I need some cinnamon whiskey, go. I think as golfers too, from time to time, we put way too high of expectations on ourselves. Like, tour athletes get to do this 80 hours a week. For most of the players we see, we have 9 to 5 jobs. And then we go out and play on Saturday and Sunday, and we go like, okay, time to go break 89, time to go break 100. But we don't spend the time to practice or hit these fun shots to make our golf game better. So I would say when you're going out to play, take those expectations down a little bit. Go enjoy who you're playing with. Just try to hit consistently fun shots. Alrighty. Let's see if we can stick one here. Get ourselves a little cinnamon whiskey 50 milliliter fireball shooter. That one's got a chance to go in. Go! The other thing you'll notice now is, because we're taking more full swing shots, my spin number there was like 8,800 RPMs. When we were at 40 yards, it was around 4,500. So because my swing's automatically bigger, much more momentum's going up instead of out. And you get a ton more backspin because the motion of the golf ball is much faster. Still a good tempo. I still need to get a little bit bigger in the swing. If we can have similar performance to like where we were at 40 yards, at 70 yards, 1 on and 2 putts, we're doing good. We're gaining strokes on the field. That one felt much better. This sport's a little awkward though. This is one of the only sports where you can really feel like you're on top of the world in one swing. Make a swing the next day and go, I don't feel like I've ever played golf before. All right, so still 58, still middle of my body now. When you get to these longer swings, you're not really messing around with ball position forward or back. It's more now length of the swing and contact. That one's a little bit high. A little more flippy with my wrists. Golf ball comes straight down. So if you do struggle with a little bit more of this active wrist through impact, you may hit higher golf shots, but less consistent because this leading edge always has a chance to run up into the golf ball. It happens. If we all hit perfect golf shots every single time, we'd be on tour. We're just trying to get A, around the golf course and B, have fun with our friends. Go. All right, still a green hit for us. What we'll start to notice too here, and I'll go right back to the camera after this, is that could be within 3 yards. This camera, if you can pick this up, there it is. So you see this white little dot here for us? This is just the repetitive amount of times that we've hit golf balls today with these indoor golf balls. And we're all trying to hit the same spot over and over and over and over again. When we look at most club faces, we have some spots out over here, some towards the heel, some high, some low. We're looking to see, can we make the consistent strike the middle of the golf club about 4 or 5 grooves up. That's what we're looking for. All right, let's see what we got here going on. Where should the ball be in your stance from this distance? More center of the body. More like a full swing shot. You can go center of the body or just where the buttons are on your shirt towards the front side. So if you're a right-handed golfer, a little bit towards your left. If you're a left-handed golfer, a little bit towards the right. Other chat here says, what's the point of marking your golf balls just so it's easier to identify? If you're playing in a tournament round, you're gonna have to identify your golf ball in a certain way so that if you hit an errant shot, they can go, hey, I was playing a TaylorMade 4 with a red dot, or I was playing a TaylorMade 5 with a blue dot, compared to my playing partner who might be playing TaylorMade 5 with a pink dot. So it just needs for identification purposes, so that way you don't hit the wrong ball on ad strokes. Let's do 2 or 3 more with this 58-degree wedge, and then we're gonna shift wedges. If I adjust my wedge now again, just like we did before, and this time I'm gonna adjust past 54 and go right down to the 50-degree wedge, similar things happen just like in short game. So my trajectory is gonna be a little bit lower. My swing doesn't have to be as big. I can still get up towards that flag stick. And now my golf ball's gonna roll out a little bit more. It might even feel a little bit easier to get close because this is probably more the closer club, preferred club for what I'm trying to do. There's always a best wedge for the situation based on how much space you have and what total length you're at. So you can now notice now, and I'm within 3 yards, so I'm gonna take another fireball shooter, how much effortless it is for me to swing the 50-degree wedge compared to me swinging the 58. And that's because I don't have to try and go high. I can hit a piercing ball flight right out there. Alrighty, this is fireball shooter number 3 or 4. Let's make sure we get another reading here. When you find yourself stressing out over golf shots like this, which you do, you're on the internet here, Fireball Whiskey's here to help. The Fireball 50 milliliter shooters are the perfect shot for your golf course. Sneak a bunch in your bag, have them when you're ready, plus no shot glasses needed. Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey shooters. We're within 3 yards there. Swings feeling fire with Fireball. All right. I think the other great thing is having a little Fireball shooter just takes the momentum out of it. All right. Beef, what's the tips to tracking your ball? I keep my head down to make better contact, but can't find my ball once it's hit. That's what some of your playing partners are there for. So play golf with people. They can help track your golf ball. You should also be able to feel where it is coming off the club face, then have an indication of like, where was my path? Where's that going to go to? All right, we got the 50-degree wedge still here for us. Golf ball still middle. A little bit of a pull. But you can tell my swing's much smaller again, so it should be repeatable. Easy to repeat over and over and over again. Beef, what's your favorite cut of beef? New York strip, 12 ounce, 16 ounce. I think it's the go-to staple. I think large out of the New York office would probably say like the T-bone, the porterhouse. But it's very hard to mess up a New York strip. Simple guys, simple pleasures. So New York strip, 12 ounce, 16 ounce. Asparagus, mashed potatoes maybe. Salt, pepper. That's all you need. If, let's say, you have a wedge you're more comfortable with as well, confidence always happens up here. So if you're more confident, hopefully you're going to hit the golf ball better. But I still want you to be comfortable with all your wedges. You still may go, hey, I love hitting that 54. I'm going to hit it every single time. But I want you to at least see what happens when you hit 58, or you hit 60 degree, or you hit 50 degree. The other thing that I see a ton with my students is they don't know proper gapping with their wedges. And what I mean by that is, another shooter. 2.99, another shooter. 2.99, another shooter. Boy, we're having a morning here. Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey shooter. We're within 9 feet, so we might as well have a little shooter. Swing's feeling fire right now. I think doing the first live stream, a little bit nervous, but not now when you have some Cinnamon Whiskey Fireball shooters. It goes down nice and smooth. Chase it with smiles. All right. What were we talking about before, I guess is what I should say. What's the easiest advice for fixing my slice? I can carry about 200, but always go about 60 yards to the right. So that's like a face first path type of thing. So like those motions I made before, where I was slinging the club over the top with an opening club face. So I get a slice. We'll do a future stream where we talk about slices and fades and draws. This is more geared to like shots that are waist high, 3/4 high. If you're swinging waist high, 3/4 high, you're not going to be able to get the golf ball that far offline. So because the swing is still not as big as my full swing shot, it's more consistent, and it has no ability to get super far offline. Oh, 3.3, we almost had another back-to-back fireball shooter. Okay, I'm still playing golf balls from the middle of my body, still transferring my weight forward. And what players don't really get as well from time to time is, if you take the impact positions you have with your wedges, so let's say I go impact position, my hands stay forward, that's really the good ball striking positions you want for 8-iron, 7-iron, 6-iron. When you get your 3-iron, you want a little bit more this way, but we want to compress the golf ball. We want to cover the golf ball. We want to be able to feel a good connection between the club and transferring the energy onto the golf ball so that we can get out to our target force. Oh, there's another one. Be all over it. If we looked at 100 yards, I get we're at 70, but if we looked at 100 yards, I want to say like the PGA Tour stats, like 80%. So Tiger, from 100 yards, is hitting the green 80 out of 100 times. Where if we probably asked everybody in the office here, how often should you hit the green from 100 yards? They're going to say 100% of the time. So just remember, expectations. Try to put a good swing on the golf ball. Smaller swings, a little bit more consistent. That one's way short. That one almost went to the beach. Bad swings happen. You got to remember that. Bad swings do happen. See if we can do a little Dennis Rodman here. Good rebound is what I mean by that. Good rebound. Oh, yeah. I'm at least putting there. 1 chip, 2 putts. That's our goal. 1 chip, 2 putts. Have more fun. 18 fives makes a 90. If you play everything as par 5, that's a 90. Let's see if we got a couple more questions here from chat. We only have about 5-10 minutes left. Can you do a video about how different body compositions and flexibility means you have to adapt a bit to your swing? Yeah, absolutely. Like, people have limitations. Clearly, I'm a little bit bigger than most people, so I do have a little bit more wrist play after the golf ball. But here's the best thing for it, is after I actually make the strike, it doesn't really matter what my arms do afterwards because the golf ball's already in the air. Stay short of 3. Alrighty, short of 3. The other thing you got to remember too is golf's one of those sports where we're playing for a number. We're not playing for who has the most purest looking swing. If you're playing for the most purest looking swing, Adam Scott would win. But there's no pictures on the scorecards. There's just numbers. Alrighty, another shooter in there. We got 4 or 5 here for us. Let's see if we can take one more question, then we'll do a little recap for the day today. Again, this was Fireball First Swings, a series here where we'll try to do some of these Fireball live streams and get us better shots, get us different thought processes, how we can play better golf in 2025. See, now I've had a couple of fireballs in me. I'm a little bit fired up. See if we can get 1 or 2 more here within 3 yards. Just like we did before too, like I've coached players in the past that had limitations with body rotation. So if you're a right-hand player, you open up your front left foot. It's going to allow you to get on your left side a little bit easier, less restrictive, especially on the kneecaps. You never really want to open up your right foot, your back foot, because it's going to restrict your backswing. But if you can open up that front foot, now I can get onto my left side way easier. Ooh, a little thin on the face. A A little thin on the face. I've also taught a whole bunch of players that are adaptive golf. So whether that's they have a physical ailment or whether they have a cognitive disability, like that's how you get your swing good from one-handed over and over and over again. Just seeing how other players hit shots allows you to unlock stuff going on in your game. Let's take 2 or 3 more of these chats, and then we're going to recap for the day. We got which wedge you swinging. This is my 50 degree. 50 degree wedge. You can see ball flight's a little bit lower. The first couple lines were probably 58s. A little bit higher ball flight, came down a little bit quicker. Beef, when I try to hit a low punch shot, I keep leaving the club face open. Any ways to work on that? So let's go back to, we'll finish on this one. Let's go back to like a 30 yard. And if I took a second golf ball, and I don't even know if our reader's gonna allow us to happen. It's not. But put like a box here or something, or if you're working on like a simulator mat, my goal is to only make contact with this dark black stripe. I don't want to make contact with this green stripe. And I might even start with that face a little bit more hooded, a little more to the left. And I'm okay if I hit it more left. I just don't want to see the thing go right. Okay? Obviously, I just juiced it there from 30 yards. But in terms of that question that was open with club face staying open, still start with these small swings here. And just go, how do I still go down that same target area? And now I've just geared it to 30 yards. We're going back to 1 yard distance. Okay. But you can always put like a training aid or a block out here for you. And that way it's going to prevent you from keeping that club face open. What other? We got one more question and then we're going to recap for the day. Will I be doing golf tips once a week? This is awesome. I would love to try and do like a twice a month stream. I still travel a whole bunch for Foreplay Podcast. So like this week we were in Myrtle Beach and Tucson. Next week we'll be in Point Vero Beach, Florida for the players. So when we have opportunities for me to come in the office and I'm in town, we'll try to do as many of these as we can. Okay, small swing still, small motions. Good smooth tempo. Again, here's 30 yards. So if you have a one chip, one putt, you're gaining strokes on the field. You're gaining strokes on the field. But be comfortable with all your wedges. I'm still playing it right from the middle here. I think we learned today too. Is that going to go in? Is that going to go in? 1.24. Chet, did I say 2 yards or did I say 1 yard? I might just say 2 yards so I can have one more fireball shooter here for the day. Let's see if I can get 1 yard here for you guys. Oh, that's juiced up. That's juiced up. See if I can get one more fireball shooter before we close out for the day. That's got a chance. A little bit to the right-hand side. It's got a chance, though. All right, so main topics we covered today. We talked about grip. So if I come back to this screen here, we got our grip. This should be nice and neutral. Okay, the V on my hand here, running more up to the middle of my body. If I put my right hand more in a stronger position, I can close down that club face more. Okay, if I go back to neutral, I try to do the same thing. Look where that club face is at. Not as closed as when it's here. Whew, straight down. So the more neutral you go, the more fade you're going to see for being a right-hand player. The stronger you go with that grip, the more you're going to be able to close down that club face, hit shots more right to left. It's only going to compound more when you hit longer irons and drivers too, because you swing those clubs way faster. So if you see a small amount of draw with your wedges, odds are when you move to your driver, you're going to see a much bigger draw. It's like a 5 yard draw with your wedge is probably like a 25 yard draw with your driver. Okay? Next thing, leading edge. This guy right here has to brush the turf. We want to hear the audio. We want that feedback. The last thing is we need to make sure our body weight's moving forward towards the target with a good pace. We can't be slow. We can't be decelerating. Good pace. Brush the turf. Hit some good shots in here for us. See if we can finish with 3 or 4 here. 3 or 4, try to go to 1 yard so we get a little fireball shooter. Roll out, roll out, roll out. I would say from this 30 yard distance, I probably have the wrong wedge. The 50 is probably not the play here because it's going to be all roll across the ground. I could probably make this swing a little bit bigger with my 58. land a little closer, and that way I don't have to worry about how much roll out of the green I got. Smooth tempo. Get within 1 yard. One of the ways you can always practice tempo is just knee high, knee high. Feel this motion. Even if you don't have a golf club. You're at the gym, take the big medic ball. That's how we're feeling. Rotate from back foot to front foot, back foot to front foot. And then as we learned today too, when we have to go further distance, we're just gonna make our swing bigger. As long as we still have those principles in place, we're hitting the ball well, we can always make our swing bigger. I think we finish on that one right there. We're within the yard. This has been the Fireball First Swings live stream. Hopefully everybody learned something today. If you have any questions, hit me up on Twitter, Instagram. Thanks, Fireball. I really enjoyed all the cinnamon whiskeys I've had. By my count here, this is probably 5 in the last 45 minutes. So we hit some good shots, we get rewarded. Cinnamon ball whiskeys. As always, I do a Tip Tuesday stream. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, Fireball, for having a great day with us in our Fireball First Swings live stream. Have a wonderful day.